The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. And as we start this day off, as always, what do we like to do? Tell you that we come to you at this time each and every day.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And it certainly does. So what do we have going on out here? Well, we're off 4 points in the S&P cash volume. Incredibly light, 1.85 billion shares. So if people were thinking we were going to have volume to the downside, we're what, 500,000 or 600,000 off, 600 million, excuse me, off Fridays, and probably what, 800 million off Thursdays. So we're down on no volume down here today, 1.85 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape as we start the day, and not much movement either, down 4.5 points as we kind of bounce around. I had some extensive reasons why I suspect that we're going to stay higher in the markets, maybe go higher, but I think we're at least can say that we're at worst going to go sideways and at best go higher over the next week. I don't see anything out here that says the imminent demise is there. In fact, there's a whole bunch of stocks that are bullish, a whole bunch of stocks that are bearish, and everything just kind of evening out on both sides. But we're going to get into this a great deal more. I'll probably talk about the reasons later in the week that I think that the market's going to stay up. In the meantime, let's get this party started.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is nothing but history repeating. Hang on a second. Miserable thing. I don't know why it does this. It seems like after the weekend, it doesn't like cooperating. I have to go back and set it twice to get this thing back up, but hopefully we're off to the races now, and everybody sees my screen. In 2006, Steve Jobs stood on a stage on this day and introduced a device that would become to define the biggest tech company in the world, the iPhone. It's exactly 10 years later today. Apple is celebrating that announcement at Macworld and remembering that the revolutionary product that Steve Jobs promised in famous keynote, which he revealed is its existence. What probably wasn't talked about a great deal is the amount of work that he did to polish the presentation. He had been practicing it for some 6 months before the release. Of course, he knew it was coming and would spend a lot of time on the product, trying to ask questions, try to figure things out. He's kind of more like Edison than I think a lot of other people. Tesla actually had his own inventions. You can kind of make a case that Edison kind of made the light bulb usable. He's the first one. But just about the exact same week, I think only a couple of days after, his patent was a patent from a gentleman in England where they basically came up with the same idea to use tungsten for the element in a light bulb, along with a vacuum. But they basically stood on the shoulders of many of the people that they worked with. I can't say that Steve Jobs ever told people what to do. What he would normally do is say, this sucks, go back and do it again, but not why it did or which way they should go. He knew it probably wasn't great, but he didn't know why. And so he would just send people back to do things over and over and over again till somehow magically maybe they came up with a great idea. And maybe that's something that works, the iterations. But it's gone through, 7, now getting ready to go on 8. The stock's been acting rather well lately, and I wasn't exactly sure because if nothing else had changed, if the rumors were true on the iPhone 8, I was looking for the stock to probably dip back down below 100 or at least 101 from its previous lows. But rumors started to rear their ugly head sometime about Wednesday last week. Those rumors started to gel, and I suspect that Apple does have a very good new gimmick. I wouldn't even call it a gimmick. Very good feature for the next iPhone. If it is as rumored and as discussed and as shown by the company that they're buying it from, I think it is amazingly interesting. And we'll talk more about that next week. If you had the Tech Insider, you'd already know all about it. But we move on. I knew somebody in the den's bringing up check your gold for tungsten filling. I knew that the Russians were filling gold bars with uranium, and they were actually a little heavier. He says it's the same distance, same for gold and tungsten, same weight and density. Huh. Yeah, I know. It's always you got to keep an eye out for somebody. Anyway, on this day in 2006, the beginning, but I've been trying to wonder why the markets really hadn't rolled over, and it looks, at least in the tech sector, that Apple may be able to keep the tech sector above kind of a midline just by itself. And we'll talk more about that as I learn more about those rumors and the possibility of those rumors actually being true. They could just be rumors. Stock could just be up temporarily. But it sounds to me like there is a deal. That deal is for some significant technology, and that will make I think, worth a lot of people upgrading in this year for the iPhone 8. VW, when we go out here and just talk about a lot of stuff going on in the news today, it's all about breaking the law. 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 The Volkswagen executive has been arrested by the FBI as a part of ongoing criminal investigations. You nearly never see this kind of stuff in the car business, but Oliver Schmidt, who ran Volkswagen in the U.S., was arrested and will be charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States, according to two people with knowledge of the situation. Kind of interesting to see that this thing's going to drag on for years now, and that instead of going after the company, they're actually going after individuals. A little tougher to go after individuals in Germany, but easily to go after somebody here in the United States. We're going to have more breaking the law when we come back, and then a few more articles about what's going on in the marketplace. But interesting stuff. What do we have going on here? And off 6 points on the S&P cash.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And what do we have going on? More breaking the law. I'd almost play that song again just to hear it. Anyway, John Corzine reached a $5 million settlement over the curious case of MF Global, who one of our hosts used to work for. Mr. Corzine agreed to a harsh undertaking, but I don't think harsh enough, accepting a lifetime prohibition from a leading futures broker registering with the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. He will not personally trade other people's money in the futures industry except for smaller trades under very certain conditions and thresholds. Mr. Corzine, in theory, could still operate a hedge fund that does futures trading, and he could trade for his own account. I don't know if he's going to. The settlement also does not prevent him from trading in other markets. And what this finally boils down to is a he said, she said, and that she, unfortunately, is in the UK, and they can't make them testify over here against him, so they can't really use one against the other as normally they do in these things. He pretty smart guy, but he was paying, stealing from Peter to pay Paul. He had a huge position on. That huge position would have been okay if he could have made it another 3 months. But if you wanted to take any kind of lesson from Mr. Corzine, it would be always high leverage kills, absolutely. Just like, sudden stops. But, this kind of, I know a lot of people are thinking, hey, this kind of smacks of a rich deal, as President Clinton went out the door in 2000. And it's probably a little bit of that. But I think the FBI, at the very end of the day, had to say, how do you make somebody in England testify? And it is rather hard. England's not really feeling it. But there's another gal that actually worked for him that's being barred for everything. She's kind of this sacrificial lamb on this deal. But as long as you're allowed or someone's not watching you, there's going to be somebody that's going to use all the margin in the world. John Corzine did it. He paid a good price, but probably not the price he should have paid for doing it with other people's money. Let me pop up a chart. This weekend we had, let me if I can find it here now. This weekend was the Consumer Electronics Show. And there was probably a big winner out of this. And to me, it had to be Amazon. This is coming back to the gap where it did gap down on 10.8 million shares today. Trying to get back into that gap with 2.6 so far. On Friday, we had 6. So we're going to be very light back into this gap. I didn't think we were going to get this far. Kind of have to look at it about $810 is where you might want to think about shorting this. I think that there are better shorts out there. Why I didn't short it in the first place and why I'm not shorting it now. But Amazon, if there was a company that was a winner at the Consumer Electronics Shows, I think a lot of losers. But it had to be them. Their Alexa product was everywhere. It was doing everything. It was in cars. It was in all kinds of products. And it really starting to show the ability to use artificial intelligence, better termed machine learning, for all kinds of things that you can do. I don't particularly like it. I don't want to have a microphone on all the time in my house. And if you didn't think that they weren't recording this, this has already gone to a court case where an Alexa is recorded audio during a murder, and they've requested it. And apparently there is audio. So all the discussions about them never listening to all this stuff, I don't know how true they are. If you want to have somebody always listening to you, it's almost like that Big Brother. No one read that book. It always disturbs me. And even the webcam I have on here, I've got the little microphones in there filled with hot glue, so nobody can hear me through that, only through this microphone in front of me. I put stickers over it or unplug the webcam when I'm not using it. Just basic security. But also, it doesn't mean someone's not out to get you, even if you're paranoid. So Amazon, big winner, probably one of the reasons why it had some decent juice on Friday. Everybody was starting to see how that was one of the issues. NVIDIA, another one that looked fairly decent at the show. You have to worry about this one taking one more dip to the downside. As long as it stays over the 3x3, this should be okay. Any close below it would suggest that maybe you're going to give a lot of money back. I think that there are some very fundamental reasons why NVIDIA may have had its moonshot this year. I put them in the Tech Insider for the fundamental reasons. For the chart reasons, this thing, you don't have to be worried right now. But, man, if this thing closes back under a 3x3 or 9-day moving average, watch out. We've had the first pop down of about $20. We're now getting back up there. Figure if you get to about 115, maybe 113, somewhere in that area, and the volume really dies out and this thing turns south, you got to keep an eye on it. Some of the other companies that are doing well off of Consumer Electronics Show was 3D Systems. I was watching a lot of videos from the Consumer Electronics Show this weekend. And 3D printing has been one of these things where it's a tough market. But there are some very exciting things finally starting to come out. This is kind of like the computer revolution, so I kind of identify with it. The first time you got a computer, or at least when I got one, it was kind of a toy, a learning experience. Did it do anything actually useful for business? No. But I was learning, getting my feet wet in the business of it. So when it did come around, I was ready and knew something about the subject. 3D Systems kind of had that first pop where everybody's saying, hey, we know these things are going to be the future, but guess what? These things just not really good enough for prime time yet. There's some very expensive ones that are. But what they started seeing was a great deal of new technology on the Consumer Electronic Show that I think we're going to see showing up in 3D Systems. And I think that's why this thing's kind of got its little rocket out here. Huge amounts of options are being bought or were being bought this morning, and this thing really ran. But a few of the things that I saw through the magic of YouTube were new technologies. One, multiple print heads that worked on gantries. In fact, some of these things are doing massively sized objects now, and better technology for what you print with. One of the new technologies is a dissolvable print, so that you can mix that with your other things, and you can scaffold in and put some supports in. When you're done printing your object, you just throw it in the water, and that all the extra support that you need to build the thing just kind of goes away. We'll be back in a second.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. And, of course, Friday, everybody thought we were going to get to Dow 20,000. Well, we were 3/10 away from it. And I was going to have my party horn ready to go. Well, that was going to be it. Anyway, no party horn yet for those Dow 20,000 party people. And you know who you are. But again, light volume, really don't see a lot of juice yet. Maybe it comes later in the day. Wouldn't be untoward, but, we're not down that far. We're down about 5 or 6 points. I think we probably would have had Dow 20,000 if we wouldn't have had the terrorist attack on Friday. That kind of put a pall and a shadow over everything. Those things last about 2 or 3 days while everybody gets a little self-reflective. And then, of course, we're told that it had nothing to do with terrorism, and everybody goes on with their life. But still don't have more than 2 billion shares on the day. So this is a very light day in comparison to everything we've seen this year so far. And I don't think there's anything other than to say about that. We'll look at a bunch of other stocks. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the den. Okay. Andy Heck has some interesting articles out here. The base metals, the building blocks of infrastructure. And I want to say bonus day, Manfred, natural gas, yeehaw. He's got a bunch of these articles out on Seeking Alpha. Check out my buddy's articles if you would. Anyway, we were talking about 3D printers. I put out a kind of a special on 3D printing. It's got to be a year and a half ago. That basically said these things are kind of, you could trade them, but nothing was going to really change until we started seeing new materials to print with at a reasonable cost. We're starting to see at least a few things answered. One, the speed issue with multiple print heads, and some of the print heads actually are getting a little finer, so the product's spilling out of these things. But as I've said before, a lot of these, especially the low end under $1,000 things, were basically hot glue guns tied to desktop optical scanners. And that is the level of technology in those. Just think about it. Just a hot glue gun. I'm going to put a little piece there. Some very new technologies also in that sector were some what they call stereolithography. In that, they have this big resin bath. Kind of reminds me of the resin that was all over the Alien in the Alien movie, except this isn't acid or anything. It doesn't fall out and burn through the floor. It's just kind of goopy stuff. And you fire a laser, 2 different lasers at 2 different angles from it, and it actually solidifies something in all the goo. Pull the goo off, wash it off, and have a nice kind of object. Gravity's always been a problem. They've been able to solve that by changing the lasers from the top to the sides. They keep on refining things, but if anything, this sector is probably one day going to be a huge sector. The question is, just when do they get that technology, kind of like the PC, along with maybe some software that gets the killer app? I still don't see that quite yet, but kind of the first thing I've seen maybe in a year that makes me think that 3D printers are still alive at some level in the market. Anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648. We're off 6 points and still under 2 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, which we all know is what, folks? What is 2 billion shares at 2:34 Eastern Time? Yes, it is wimpy. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks. Stocks gapping up. Area Pharmaceuticals. Nothing to say about this one other than, wow, this thing had been all over my radar and popping up in my scans, but I couldn't really find anything or reason why. And I really didn't find anything technically to buy on it. Of course, you never knew, but I have a feeling that everybody behind the scenes knew on that one. Because it was setting off alarm bells. I just couldn't find a good technical place to buy it. Excelis, another one that popped up to 1749 on a nice gap up. LABU, we talked about the biotechs as I thought the IBB was headed to 300. It's just going to stumble up here. I don't think it's got a lot of juice behind it, but I think it's just on that way. Anyway, you've got a nice gap up in this. Not a lot of volume, but again, not expecting it. This LABU looks like it could get into that $47 level before you run into a lot of resistance. Some resistance now. MPEL, which is Melcro Crown Entertainment Limited, MPEL. Little gap, nothing to write home again. The one I was interested in on how it would act after the gap up this morning was Wynn Resorts. This thing's pretty much given all of that back. It's come back, never really had the juice out here. You can make a fairly decent case this thing is just doing its retracement. It got to the 50% level, minus 24 cents today on its retrace from this 104.90, the November 30th high, and the December 30th low at 85.57. So you kind of came up. Their energy really hasn't been anything in this one. And the question is, can you say that Wynn Resorts is in an ABC down? I don't know if you can. You really dislike this heavy volume down, though, of 12.7 million shares on the 8th. We're kind of getting about halfway back into that. Of course, give all that up. So if we are in an ABC on Wynn, this says that we'll go to $75.67. You're looking for some kind of sign that this 50% retracement or 618 retracement fails. Not a lot of juice out here today, but I would want some kind of confirmation out here, maybe a close below a 3x3 or a 9-day moving average or something else. I just don't have enough to say that this market's ready to roll over, especially with the light volumes that we see today in the market. Twillo, TWLO. I'm still not understanding why this thing is always brought up. You can make a case that this is in an ABC down. It did break the A point or the B point with a volume of 11 million shares on January 3rd. It's just kind of gone sideways since then. That doesn't mean that the wheels automatically fall off, but you did a 64% retrace back up to 65.15. And a 1-to-1 would take you to $24.64 on Twillo. If this thing would have come in here and not had the volume, you could make a case here that this was a bullish pattern. I just don't see it. You broke the December 12th low that had just a hair under 4 million shares with 11 million shares. So you've broken that low with volume. And you got kind of light volume out here today on a sideways action. These are us. Yep, we'll be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And, of course, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Gapping down today, mostly energy-related. Energy Transfer Equity Partners down fairly strong. Volume picking up later in the day. Symbol is ETE. I don't know if you can make a whole lot about it other than maybe this thing is starting to break the uptrend line. Rig, Orson Rig has gapped down. These are all, of course, on West Texas being down about 3%. UNG, the dreaded UNG. I actually did a chart where I warned everybody about it. I'm not interested in shorting $8 things because they can always blow you away to the opposite side. The numbers just work against you. I would rather, and I am looking at, if I was going to short something, it'd be a $180 stock, not an $8 stock. But I warned about the possibility in the newsletter several times about a 3-gap play existing in LP. And I think I can do this here. Let's move this over here. Can I? Yeah, I can. And we'll zoom in here a little bit more, and we'll make this just so I can make my point a little bit more. We've covered a couple of gaps already, but there's still 2 more down here. Maybe I'll look for the thing out here, but you had 2 nice gaps. And you really kind of filled those already. I'm going to have to go find my chart now because there were 2 big gaps that were open in this, and it certainly looked like the possibility of a 3-gap play and taking us back down to the $7 range. I don't know what else to say about it other than that, but yeehaw, like Andy said in his article today about natural gas. Watch out when you have 3 big gaps that are continually open below. If anything looks a little hinky, always a good time to take the money and run. We'll go back through it. Okay. And VOD is the last gap down today. I don't know if you can make a lot out of this one either. Volumes, okay, but nothing too exciting. We're going to go to percentage decliners and then percentage advancers today. Geos Pharmaceuticals, AGIO, opened okay, rolled over and back to the support levels. This thing kept gap down on huge volume. It just went back up to that gap and turned tail and ran today. Guess we're not getting that far from when Punxsutawney Phil comes out, sees a shadow. AMAG blew apart. You know, what can you say about pharma stocks? IYA, which is Acuity Brands Holdings Company. This thing gapped away and on big volume. So that one has broken all the previous lows for a while. BioCryst Pharmaceuticals rolled over today on an uptrend. To Bristow Group. In fact, let's zoom in here just a little tighter, if I can, while we're doing these, so you can see them a little better. Bristow Group. I'm not going to make a big deal out of that one. CMC, which is Commercial Metals Company. This one's kind of rolled over and down. A lot of these commodities related stocks are showing some weakness out here. And I have a feeling it's because the dollar did not pop back up as strongly as a lot of people would or thought it might. In fact, the dollar's off 22 cents at 102 even right now on the continuous contract. Anyway, this thing's probably working its way back down to about 17.5. It may get to 18.50. If it does so, and now on lighter volume, back into this big gap up on the 9th of November, then we might have another chance to go after some of these metal stocks. Once again, Emergence Biosolutions down. Not a lot of volume, though, but, man, a big candle. EGRX down fairly strong. This is Eagle Pharmaceuticals. Down. Not all the volumes, not all that much, though. Went down to 64.38, popped fairly decently back in here. But you're back into this gap up that had a great deal more energy. That gap was on the 2nd of November. With let's call it 2 million shares. You came back down to that gap with just 1 million shares today. A little bit more violent than I would like, but if that thing bases out and the market moves up, you might find some of these bios looking okay. The Goldfields Company, pretty big reversal on this one. You can look at this as dark cloud cover on about 4 or 5 candles out here. The Goldfield Corp. Is this? Let me get the profile on this just to make sure. This, because I think a lot of people might, we talk about gold stock so much. I want to make sure that you know this is not a gold stock. Goldfield Corporation provides electrical construction services to electric utilities and industrial companies in the United States. So just because you got gold in the title doesn't mean it's a gold stock. What else do we have here? Manhattan Associates down on heavy volume. Now, this is going through the previous low with higher volume of November 2nd. So you've got a clear signal out here, down volume fairly decent. This is the second big gap down. The first one goes back to the 19th of November. So this is a gappy little guy to the downside. And really, this is a Manhattan real estate issues. If you've been reading the paper, just how fast the very, very expensive apartments are falling off in Manhattan. Pioneer Energy Services down a little. I'm not going to make a big deal about that. Sears Holdings, this thing's just continuing to move down. One day it will not get back up. Don't know when that will be. UNT, which is Unit Corporation, down on some decent volume here. WTW, which is Weight Watchers, had a nice spike up, down on lighter volume again. Doesn't look like Oprah is going to save this one. And Zoe's Kitchen, which rolled over fairly hard today. What can we say? Down with volume, a big candle wiping out the 4 previous trading days of volume. Now we'll go to the percentage advancers. Take a look at the ones that weren't out here from the gap up. Exogen, a nice pop up in this one. You had volume. Let's take a little longer look at this one. And breaking through at least recent highs and doing it with some gusto. CLVS is another one, which is Clovis Oncology. This one's just back to a bigger, I wonder if this is just a split that was missed. Let's take a look out here. Because it certainly looks like it does. No, this must have been something else out here. Proportional dividend, maybe? No. Guess whatever in there is in there. I'll have to go back and look at it. When we get back, we're going to look at Goro. Find out what's going on with this one. GORO. Gold Resources, one of the big winners of the day on a day we've kind of been going a little bit sideways. And what do we have? 2270 on the S&P cash, just 2.1 billion shares.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Woof, 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 woof. Woof got a buyout offer from Mars. WOOF is the symbol on this one. This is a pet care and basically a HMO for dogs and cats and other animals. But they're all getting it together. There's a lot of money out there, and of course you don't get near the lawsuits. And of course, if you wanted to be a doctor, I think probably a pretty good business to be in, even if your customers die, they can't sue you for much more than the pet cost. But people love spending money on their pets, especially down here in Florida. I always thought it was very interesting. I had 2 dogs in the mid-2000s. And my ex-girlfriend walked away with one of them. Both of them had to have the exact same surgery when I lived up north, and it was $500 up north and $1,500 down here in Florida for the same surgery. You can see that there's a lot of money in some areas, certainly down here in Florida, for pet care, but these guys are starting now to really pull together a bit, and we'll see how those things go from here. I wanted to look at a handful of stocks in my own scans, and we'll see how those are doing today. We talked about some of these high flyers. Let's take a look at Netflix right off the bat. This area has been kind of resistance. I've disliked, if we go back a little farther, this 133 area. This is the third time that Netflix is getting into this price range. You had 27 million shares December 7th, 2015. We're getting and did spike that with 10 million shares on Friday the 6th. Some of these seem to be rather rich out here unless we see something going on out here that really makes us think these things are going on. Now, the downside is that you got earnings coming out not too in the distant future. In the case of Netflix, it's on the 18th. We're, 10 days away? Can these stocks easily hold up into earnings and squeeze all the early shorts out of these things? I think they can. Netflix is a perennially short stock with about 18 to 20% shorts in it all the time. And, you just kind of tick up a little bit each day. Eventually, you have another little short squeeze and the stock goes a little higher. And that is kind of what you have to kind of watch. I don't have Netflix right now either. It seems like if I quit it for 3 months and then come back, there's enough new stuff that I care about. But it's a lot of times I haven't watched it for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I shut it off New Year's Day. Just, you get to watching some of the stuff, you really like it. But then you start getting to be a real snob, or I do, a real snob. And only the best will do. The stuff that's good on it is so good that you don't want to watch all the other B-level stuff on it. They've had a few things on it, just not a lot of stuff that interested me. But anyway, up here, you had two previous highs. The first one, 30 million shares. Got a little higher with 26.6 million shares, and the thing came off. And now we're up here with about 10 million shares. I suspect that we are going to see these hold up through the earnings call, and that's really what you have to watch and what's going to happen, I think. Or at least that's what I'm speculating is going on for the next week or so. Going to have to wait until those earnings calls really start coming out, the week of the 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and all that stuff. That's where we're really going to get going. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.